Hello, and welcome to Recent Activity, your new favorite entertainment review podcast that attempts to cover every film, every show, all at once. I am your co-host, Andrew Morgan. With me, as always, he plays Dudley in a new wave, non-consensual death metal folk band. Shane Beauregard. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, buddy. Doing well.
I stuttered there because I saw your face. I'm like, didn't we watch this movie?
Yeah.
Didn't we both watch this movie?
We did.
Okay, good to know. No other surprises here on this podcast, but good to see you. This is going to be straight up. It's old school, Shane.
I like old
We're
school.
just going, no theme, no one movie deep dive, no nothing. It's just what we're watching, baby.
Just how I like it.
We watched, we have a seven pack abs. Got to get that one extra ab. 7-pack here of just straight up movie reviews. A couple of things up top that are still in theaters, one being a new premiere, and then we will get into some streaming options, some streaming originals, and then some stuff that is just landed for streaming as, or PVOD in the more recent weeks. So we got a power-packed one. We got a lot of stuff to cover here. We are going to start with the one that premiered this weekend, as far as the movie theaters go. We have the new movie starring Zendaya, Robert Pattinson, Alana Haim, and Mamoudou Athie. It's called The Drama. This is directed by Christopher Borgli, who I'm going to talk probably at length, because Shane and I believe, both saw Dream Scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I believe you liked it more than me. So I think this is where we can kind of start to dig. But this movie is a much different scenario in the fact that this is about a happily engaged couple who is put to the test when an unexpected turn sends their wedding week off the rails. This made $26.2 million over the weekend. It's a larger domestic opening than Materialist, which ended up making over $100 million. So it's off to a good start in that way. I'm curious to see where it will land, especially because it's bigger stars up front. And that's kind of what I felt in the theater without getting into the movie. But when I showed up and I'm looking around, I'm like, this crowd is here for Zendaya.
Yep.
And she is a star. And I know after we went through all the Ryan Gosling stuff recently with Project Hail Mary of oh, there's so few real, genuine, can open a movie stars. She's one of them. And I like the fact that she's got multiple movies, a bunch of blockbusters. But this one, a smaller movie like this, really puts the test to what she can do. And I think this is an encouraging sign for her and her stock, as it were. But let's get to the movie, man. I thought of you instantly when the credits are rolling and it says produced by Ari Aster. And I was like, oh shit, we are in trouble. This movie's going to be more fucked up than I thought. And then I was like, oh, right. And it's the guy who directed Dream Scenario, which is, again, a movie that I thought was, funny, well casted, but I don't know. I had it so hyped up that this guy was going to go in this Charlie Kaufman-esque direction and have, an equally talented script and all that. And I thought it was good, but not great. And I admired it more than I liked it. I haven't returned to it. And so knowing those pieces together, I was in here. I was like, I love this cast. The main four, I absolutely love them. Alana Haim apparently loves playing toxic and or aggressive characters. And this one might be her more pointed one in a while. Mamoudou Athie, I've loved that guy for years. He had a Netflix movie during the pandemic time. It was 2020 called Uncorked that I was like, this guy's going to be a guy for a long time. And now he's gotten kind of caught up in the Jurassic Park and some other franchisey stuff. But I'm like, this guy is really good. I'm glad to see him here. And then Robert Pattinson, Jesus Christ, dude, outside of the Batman thing, just even looking at him in this movie as a person who, has slowly lost his hair over the thing, the fact that he just has unkempt hair that he tries to make himself less attractive like throughout most of the movie when he's just one of the most gorgeous guys ever and can just, do whatever he wants. Fuck him.
Yeah.
Fuck him. Like, it's just too easy for him. It's so amazing. But I really like him. I like Zendaya a lot. So this one I thought was going to come together for me. I felt like I had a lot of similar feelings to Dream Scenario, just in a much more different movie, that I admired it. I think this is hypocritical of me to say, but I don't know if I'd be more compelled in the conversation or philosophical musing of what happens in this movie, or a documentary. Like if somebody was like, you got to watch this documentary where like this guy finds out this thing about his fiance and then it throws things to the wind and things go crazy. I don't know. I almost felt like, would that work on me more? So I just wasn't fully sure that I was, when at the end of the day, I was just like, this is a movie that I would like give a full-throated recommendation to people about. Even though I was engaged for most of it, I like these kind of philosophical things, like these bombshell attitude that, makes people scatter. And we'll get into it. We could spoil it in a bit, but I kind of just want to put it out there. I like that. I don't love making people squirm all the time, but this isn't really that. It's more just like, let's just talk this scenario out until, we've exhausted it and then just try to land this plane. And I thought, the ending was fine for what was going on. How did you feel about the drama?
I love this movie.
No way. Well, again, so here we go. Go ahead.
I love this movie. Like,
wow. Okay.
I want to go off the top and say I didn't. You brought this off with Zendaya. I didn't realize I knew she was big, right? But I didn't realize how many people loved her. Like, I didn't know she'd be able to open a movie. And I think this movie was perfectly casted. And I thought the bomb that she dropped at the dinner table, which led to everything, I thought that was an interesting way to take the movie because I didn't see her coming out with that fact. But it does make you think in different ways. Like, what if the person I was with said that? Like, I kept thinking that, like, would I be okay with it? It was funny at times. Like, I love the chemistry between Pattinson and her. Like, it had everything. I thought it landed the plane perfectly just based on, like, their characteristics throughout the movie, especially how she was and how he was. Like, she was, like, I don't say wear the pants, but she was taking charge where he was always the passive, guy who wouldn't want to step up and do anything like face to face or anything like that. I just thought them two together. I love the tension of this movie, the awkward movements. I love like how they flash back to how she grew up. I've like this younger self like mixed in with the Robert Pattinson at times. I like those shots as well. I freaking loved this movie so much. Like, and I did notice Ari Aster produced it. I'm like, oh my God. Like, I had the same thoughts because you know how I feel about him. But no, I love this movie.
So again, I liked Eddington and, coming off that. And again, I know his movies are different than what he produces, so I don't want to completely go there. But at the same time, he does like to pick projects that will be like out there.
Right.
And this, as far as like what a sort of romantic drama that is a dark, like pitch black, dark comedy, if you want to pitch it that way, kind of a movie, that sounds exactly like something he'd be interested in.
Yeah, because based on the trailer, I thought it was going to go like dark comedy as the way of like War of the Roses, possibly. You know what I mean? Like, I thought it was going to go down that road.
I thought that too.
And it does not. And it makes you feel sympathetic. And again, it makes you laugh, especially Pattinson. Like, he had such great moments, like when he threw the coffee cup away. It was just like stuff. And he would just like tell these little lies to cover up for things. And like, oh God, so good. And I love the ending. I just was perfect. It was a perfect way to end the movie based on those two's journey throughout the week and the wedding. Oh my God. Yeah. So I'm over the moon for this movie.
Yeah, I just, like I said, it's a big idea plot with really good casting that will keep your attention, but I just didn't think it lingered with me as much. Like, again, it's an admiration. I think people who really like this movie, I had thoughts of like, this is like which they did make an American movie, so I don't even want to be that way, but it felt like a force majeure kind of a thing where it's some massive mistake, some massive misstep, and then the rest of the movie is trying to recuperate and examine the misstep
Yeah.
and show it for something larger. I just didn't think it got too much bigger than the moment.
Right.
Like it didn't. I wasn't sitting here going. I I did like some of it. I'm trying to loop my brain around, especially because now knowing you liked it so much, I'm kind of like, oh well. And again, I liked it. I don't want to say like I just thought like there are some people out here who just absolutely love it, and I think it may be your mileage being like I didn't laugh a lot in here. So like people who call it more of a comedy, I just go, okay. But I also wonder if it's which the director loves to poke fun at like modern discussion and modern almost political bends and kind of almost American attitudes towards things because if I'm not mistaken, I believe he is not American. I want to say Swedish,
Right.
something, because his first movie that caught my attention was Sick of Myself, and I want to say that is I'd have to look it up. I don't want to whatever, but like it's something to that effect. However, like he just likes to like with Dream Scenario. Remember, he was just kind of like taking apart like almost like social media stardom and people jumping to conclusions and ripping people apart that they don't know and going into like all these different corners of like how internet reactions and social media and AI and all these other bugaboos that are happening in the tech world that he kind of uses to make points about what happens to Nicolas Cage's character. This one, they get into how it is kind of like Robert Pattinson's kind of, says straight out like that this is an American problem
Yeah.
of that it talks about school shootings and guns and everything like things that we think about or endure all the time. Whereas, him, if he didn't grow up in this country and he has the British accent in this movie full on, he's not doing an American thing. So it does feel maybe a little distant to him, or at least not as jarring as Alana Haim's reaction or even Mabudu Athey's reaction. So again, things that I'm like, yes, I could see things that like I like admire about it and like getting into, but I just don't know if it always had me or always kept me into it after the bombshell.
I mean, I could see that. I obviously didn't have that problem. But I like that perspective, him being from an outsider being in America. Because like he brought up the point that this is an American problem. This happens here. And I
Yeah.
like that. And it also like makes you dive into the person. Like, and he was like, she's changed. Like, obviously, she's not the same person she was when she was 15. So do people really change? Are those
Yes.
thoughts always there? I just like the
Yeah.
deep dive that made me go into in my brain where it's like, oh man, like that's a real thing. Like I just was so intrigued with that part of the movie. It's like,
Yeah.
wow, okay. Like, cause in my head, I think I would have went along with the marriage. I think I would have married her still, to be honest with you. Like,
I think so too. And I think that's maybe why I also didn't latch on to maybe some things because I was like, oh, well, yeah, that was a long time ago. She didn't go through with it. She changed herself not 10 years later, but almost instantly.
right.
And even with like the hypocrisy that they bring up and everything's again, a lot of like good dialogue, a good discussion.
Hmm.
So that's why I said I still like this movie. I just think there are people like yourself who like love it that make me just go, yeah, but that's not how I felt when I walked out of that theater. And I'll be very honest, dude. I walked out of that theater and a lot of people were just, I've heard the murmurs around me of like, well, that was a movie, like kind of like people
Right.
really set back about it. And so it's going to be a divisive movie. And I feel weird for kind of being in the Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, no,
Kind of thing because I felt the anger or not like or just the like the whatever that was when people left the theater. I heard that like out loud, but then I also hear from like critics and yourself where it's like, oh no, this movie is impressive. This is good.
yeah. No,
So
I heard the same murmurs too, especially the way it ended, because I guess that ending didn't land with a lot of people, but it just for me, it made sense. Um,
yeah,
and again, I there's some poignant moments, or there's moments that made me laugh, like her coming up with the knife, I was like, do I scare you? She like jabbed it at him.
that
And
yeah,
like,
that almost was like I've seen that,
but
but
his
yeah,
speech was hilarious. Like I was dying because he brought up the sex part and just like he was fumbling
yeah,
over
all the
himself.
things he said he didn't want to do or
Yes.
shouldn't do when he was discussing. Yeah, for
Yes,
sure,
and
it was a nice
and the
callback.
tension in the room where the best friend, like you said, the best friend stood up, and I thought she was gonna out her, but she didn't. She like held back, and I thought that was gonna be it. Like
Yeah.
it was all there and it all connected. I really like this movie. I gave it a 4.5. I'm just gonna be real. I gave it a
Oh
yeah, I
wow.
gave it a
Yeah.
4.5 out of 5. I like this
So
movie.
this has got to be one of your like almost like top 5 films of the
It
year
is.
kind of a
It
thing.
is for sure.
Wow. Yeah, I kind of like kicked around what I would give it. I'd probably give it a 3.5,
Yeah, and I
maybe.
can see that. Like for me,
I'm in that camp.
yeah, for me, it goes both ways. Like I can see the 3.5, 4, and everything. Because again, it's just one of those movies that you are divisive, makes you think, and you may not like totally love it, but you love elements of it. So like
Yeah.
I just clicked with this movie.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know. I like this movie better than Dream Scenario because
Yep.
I think it's a more complete movie and a more complete thought with better actors, quite frankly. I mean, Cage is great in Dream Scenario, but everything else kind of felt like, I don't know, a clip show of ideas, like a
Hmm.
copy paste, like kind of wanted to go in this direction, and made his points, but it didn't feel as momentous. I don't know. It didn't feel like it had a better construction as much as this one did. This one felt like a complete thought. It's just whether you can wrap your mind around or get into all the various ways this movie goes after it really, shit hits the fan.
Right.
How did you feel about the ending? Because I think that's part of the reason why maybe I wasn't like sent off in some amazing way where, I guess spoilers and other things like if we're gonna get deeper into dive. So if you haven't seen this one, skip a little bit ahead. The next one will be they will kill you. So if you've seen that, we'll get into that next. Um, but the ending of them in the diner and they made a point of like that's where they can go afterwards. I don't know. There was a lot of like soft things that they kind of brought back for that ending that should have mattered more but didn't matter as much to me, like the reset thing that she liked to do. Like he didn't even like that a couple times within the movie, so it was interesting to bring that back again
Correct.
and then also have that be your ending. Like it didn't resolve anything. It just kind of like was like we're okay.
Yeah. And that was fine with me because at first I'm like, what are the odds of her going? Like I know they discussed it in the movie and they brought it back, right? But I thought like in the moment of all the events that transpired through the wedding, like what are the odds that she would really still go to that restaurant, right? But I
Right.
was fine with it and she liked the reset. But I think in that moment, Pattinson's character realized where we need a reset. Like I thought that's when he was okay with it. Like because before he was still trying to like get the information out of her, like do I still want to marry this person? He was like kind of off.
Right.
And then I think in this moment, that was the only way where they could put the wedding debacle behind them and all that mess behind them and just totally reset. And I think that's when it clicked with him. He's like, okay, I'm going with it this time because I really love her and I really don't care what she did. And I want to be with her. And we're going to start from scratch. So I think he just went with it because he felt it in that moment where he didn't before. So to me that was like they're okay, they're going to get past it some way, and that's to me that's the only logical way they could have ended it because I couldn't think of another ending that I would have liked more based on what happened from the wedding stuff. Like I don't know where they could have
Yeah.
went, and I thought that was like him showing up just all bloody and beat up and just
Yeah.
in his tux and stuff. I just thought was just
Yeah.
great. And I liked the reset because again, it was that moment for his character that he realized, like, yes, I'm just totally into this person. I don't care. Let's reset. My name's Charlie. Like, let's go. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I do. Again, I like it in a way. It's interesting that it ends on a moment where he's wanting her back. It's almost like he's trying to make up for his
yeah.
mistakes by
Instead,
that time when we examined her over and over for the last 45 minutes
yeah,
of a movie, and here we are. It's like him covered in blood, going after you know kissing and aggressively kind of getting into it with his coworker.
yeah,
So, and then obviously getting the repercussions and saying it into a microphone or to a whole room of people, whatever it was. That's where this goes. I'm happier that this made more money than
it's a
Materialist.
better
That was not
movie
a
for
movie
sure.
either of you connected
Yep.
with. So I'm glad that there's no like after part of this where yeah, it's going to be a divisive movie, but not in the same way of like where Materialist I just thought was just not good. It's like this one, it's more like, yeah, it was good. I like a lot of things, and then but people could be like, well, but screw that bombshell, or oh, I didn't like how this went, and all those. That's a different type of thing. At least it's on its. I don't know. I root for this movie way more, and I enjoyed it more. So I'm glad that it maybe has a chance to be another $100 million movie for A24 that isn't again some kind of franchise or even a horror thing or whatever, that this is just like a straight just original good movie that feels like it can have some legs.
Yep.
And I like that. I like it in theory for the box office when Materialists had success, but at the same time I was like, yeah, but it's
Yeah.
Materialists. Yeah. So at least this one I can kind of go, all right, well, good. I don't have as much of an issue with that. So happy for them. I still think that Christopher Borgley has more to him, though, as a director. And I still think, I don't think this is the best he could do. I'm hoping that, like, the more he can be like, yes, I'm coming up with these really good ideas. He's great at getting the emotional gut punch moments or this outlandish kind of plot line to get people engaged. I think he's still got a better movie in him, maybe as things go on, where he can really kind of just make something that sails all the way through and maybe gets a little bigger in its discussions and points and things that are on his mind. I still like seeing him do a little more digging.
Yeah. I
So
agree.
I look forward to what he's got next.
Yep.
And what's weird is he has, by IMDb standards, he has nothing
Yeah.
on deck. So it'll be interesting to see how long we have to wait until we get to the next one for him. But again, he had really positive critical scores with Sick of Myself, Dream Scenario, and this. So I don't think he'll have to wait too long. Next movie we have up is They Will Kill You. This is starring Zazie Beetz, Patricia Arquette, Heather Graham, Tom Felton of Harry Potter fame. I'm sure he's loving that I say it in that way. And Mahala, who is from Industry, Bodies, 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 Dead Man's Wire, which I talked about earlier on in the year. This is about a woman who takes a job as a housekeeper in a New York City high rise, unaware of the building's history of disappearances. Soon, she realizes the community is shrouded in mystery. And again, this is one of those movies, Shane, that we kind of looked at and was like, oh no, it's coming out kind of at the wrong time. It's got, Ready or Not and Ready or Not 2 DNA coded to it. Like, is this going to be redundant or is it going to stand alone and be good on its own? What did you think of They Will Kill You?
Quite simply, this movie was very entertaining. It is what it is. It doesn't pretend to be anything else.
Yeah.
The plot is barely there with the sister connection with the hotel. Like that was just there as a MacGuffin for the action and just everything else. Zazie Beats
Yeah.
is phenomenal. I just kept thinking throughout this movie, if Tarantino were to make a Kill Bill Volume 3 and they needed someone to play the Fox's daughter, like, just cast Zazie Beetz right now. Like, just cast her
Yeah,
now because
I enjoy her.
she
Yeah,
was great, and it had a lot of Kill Bill Volume 1 action in it with the comically, like, blood splatters, over the top kills. This movie takes off, like, within the first 15 minutes. Once you get, like, the events at the beginning of the movie with the sister and her and the abusive dad, once that, like, clears up, like, it's like you're running, like, from minute
yeah,
15 to the end of the movie. I was in for
yeah,
the ride. I really enjoyed this movie. Very entertaining. Definition of a popcorn movie. And like you said, it is
yeah,
in that ready or not kind of DNA genre. I don't care.
yeah.
Like, it entertained me. It was fun. I brought my daughter to it. She loved it. Like, good movie. Entertaining movie.
Yeah, I was entertained for good stretches. I did think the action was good. I think Zazie Beetz was very well casted as far as that goes. You could definitely see, we've talked about it. You mentioned it, the Tarantino influences, but also, kind of, you could see a little bit of like the almost Evil Dead or
Mhm.
like indie kind of stuff. And definitely, it kind of goes hand in hand with Tarantino, but like exploitation kind of 70s and 80s movies with those as well. So you can see a lot of that. I thought the soundtrack was pretty banging, especially with those action sequences. Especially there's like a Doechii song in there that I was
Yeah.
like, fuck yeah. All right, cool. This is great. Um, I thought the mythology and the plot get very muddled
Very thin.
and kind of slapped together a little too many conveniences for me as time went on. And I am getting a little, it seems like we've had a lot of movies in the last couple of years of like Satanists is your reason for everything that goes on in your movie. I'm just kind of done with that a little bit, or I need a pause for a while. So that kind of, got with me. There's a lot of head choppings off, and the rolling eyeball thing I'm sure you absolutely loved as a person we talked about with Alien Earth and the eyeball spider or whatever that was and everything else, bringing stuff like that back. The devil pig sword fight, and there's like the the my favorite I think was the fire axe slow-mo through the air where she's like chopping the head in half after jumping through a table.
Yep.
I believe possibly that's also on fire.
Yep.
That was pretty cool. So there are a bunch of moments where you could see the seeds of like something pretty cool. If they did a sequel to this, I wouldn't care.
Oh, I wouldn't
I
care
don't think
either.
I'd go for it.
Nope.
And I hope that there's a little more style in the action. I thought it was a lot of broad shooting with a lot of these, but there is a lot of fun and a lot of stuff that looks mostly practical effects,
Mhm.
and with a lot of like the head gunnings and explosions and other things that happen. I enjoyed that probably the most, or I was impressed by that the most. But yeah, I just can we please just enough with the Satanists
Yeah.
made us do
Like I said,
this
the
thing.
plot is
I'm
so
just
razor
done.
thin. You know what I mean? Like, it's just,
Totally.
yeah. So, but again, we both had fun. I had fun. I didn't care about the plot at that point.
I think it's probably a week 3.
I give it a strong 3.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. And I can see that because, you tend to like a little more of like, if the action's good enough, just let it fucking ride
Yep.
kind of an attitude. So it's perfect. Again, same score, but I love the delineation that we do on that one. Next one, we'll start going towards the streaming options now. Let's get out of the theater and let's dip into Hulu for some back-to-back picks. Let's start with Mike and Nick and Alice. This stars James Marsden, Vince Vaughn, Isaac Gonzalez, Keith David, Jimmy Tetros, Stephen Root, and Ben Schwartz. This is about two friends who navigate the dangerous world of organized crime, testing their loyalty and survival skills as they get deeper into the criminal underworld. That kind of doesn't include, oh, by the way, this is about time travel. So it's an interesting scenario here. I from the moment it started, where Ben Schwartz, I believe, is singing the Billy Joel song from Oliver and Company,
Yes.
I was like, we're just in fun zone. So I don't care where it goes from here, but like this is another movie again. Actually, outdoes I think They Will Kill You with the soundtrack. The selection, like the fact that we get a Dave Matthews Band song playing at the strip club scene. Steve Winwood's Valerie is like a big part of this movie, as well as an Oasis sing along
Yes.
on a ride to the hospital. So there are so many great needle drops. I thought there's a lot of funny lines. I just thought this, again, like to your point, I love these people. I like watching this stuff. I thought it was entertaining. It's not spectacular, but I had a good amount of fun. And I would, I think you mentioned like, you were like, oh, I would probably watch Boss Level again more than this, because like kind of going in that, you know, it's not time travel, but it's kind of like, kind of repeating stuff and going through various scenarios again. I think I might agree with you, but I think I don't know. I had more scenes where I was just like, I just really like this cast so much. And that's no slight to your Frank Grillo, so don't come at me. But I think, especially like the scene with the the cannibal assassin, gambit that they pull between the Stephen Root part of it and then where it goes afterwards. I thought that was a lot of fun, and you get a massive shootout at the end too, and everything else. So I think a lot of things work here. It's not always consistent, but I did have a lot of fun.
Oh, this movie is so much fun. Like, it is so much fun.
Yeah.
And I've tried to like talk to people about this movie, like, oh, Vince Vaughn. I'm like, what are they hanging out with Vince Vaughn? Vince Vaughn's great. Like, you get like classic Vince
Yeah.
Vaughn banter. Like, he is who he is in every movie. I don't care, people. He is funny. His quips, his one-liners, his dry sense of humor works. I think James Marsden is like the perfect, like, opposite of him in
Yes.
this movie. He's everywhere
Yep.
now, between Paradise and now Your Friends and Neighbors and this movie. Love the guy.
Yeah.
We've talked about him extensively on here. Um, again, enough action, soundtrack banging, like funny. And I only brought up Bus Level in the fact that for like Hulu, I use quotes, people, like Hulu movies, like, keep giving us these movies, like,
I know.
because Boss Level was fun, and it's coincidentally both like time travel elements in it, or die and repeat, like, but it's
Yeah.
it's like right there, dude. This movie's so rewatchable. In fact, I'm going to watch it again at some point soon. It's just a fun spin. I never felt like bored or like this movie's taking too long. Like,
No.
yeah, David Keith was great, and his relationship with his quote unquote son, like how dumb he is in the movie, just made me laugh. Like, it's
Yeah.
just hysterical, dude.
I'm
Like,
covered in rats.
right,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
yeah. When his friend told him the story about the penis not being able to get up in prison once you're in prison or something like that, and he had that problem throughout the
Yep.
movie, just hysterical.
Oh, yeah.
Man, I love.
Yeah.
This movie was,
What'd they call him? Dumbass Dave,
yeah,
or whatever his
yeah. It
name
was
was, like where it was something like that, where I was just like, yeah, this is so perfect.
yeah, just a great.
It was all cartoon characters.
Yeah, it was so good. I really liked this movie. I ended up giving it like a 3.5.
I think I'm right there too.
Yeah.
I like, it's like either a strong 3 or like a slightly weaker 3.5. It's in that zone. It made me feel like probably a deeper cast version of how I felt about Jack Quaid movie from last year,
Novocaine,
right?
yeah.
That was new. So it felt like a better, more consistent version of that. And I think I gave that a 3 because I thought the script didn't quite get there, even though I had a really good time. I think this is, the streaming sci-fi tinged version of that. And I will echo your Vince Vaughn thing. I actually when I was watching, I was like, who else but Vince Vaughn is playing this role?
Right.
Like, because he's done the gangster thing in the past, but he also has a level of charm and wit and comedy timing that he could do both. I'm like, there's not many people who I would want to sign up for that role. And to echo your point about James Marsden and even Isaac Gonzalez, I think is a perfect kind of one that works for both of those guys and really kind of fits in that world too. I thought she was really good. But yeah, I think the casting is probably the
Strong.
strongest
Yep.
thing about this movie. Because, like I said, I mentioned 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people in here that are recognizable and good in the movie. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
So
For a movie named Nick, Mike,
I
and
enjoy it.
whatever, like you wouldn't expect that in
Yeah,
April. Like, okay,
yeah,
but it's
yeah,
or
exactly.
March, whenever.
And
Yeah.
honestly, dude, I would get the Baron eats people. He's not Alf on a
Yeah,
t-shirt.
right.
He's an assassin and he's a cannibal, and he takes both of them very
Yeah.
seriously. Like every kind of like line with it was like hilarious.
I was even laughing
Oh,
at
he takes his victims alive. Oh, is that
yeah,
good for me?
yeah.
Yeah.
And even the cat's name.
Yeah.
What was the cat's name? I was laughing at that.
Kingpin.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
Yeah. Makes sense. Love it.
And he was like, I'm a good cat. He's
Yeah.
like, I wouldn't be a good daddy. I'm a good cat daddy
Yeah.
though, or whatever.
Yeah.
So
Great.
yeah, I loved all of that. You know, the cat daddy inside me. I was just like, this is great. And the fact that they like got him in safety and all
Yeah.
those. I was like, yeah, good for Kingpin. Yeah. So glad we're on the same page there. Next Hulu movie just came out over the weekend. Pizza Movie.
Oh boy.
This is starring Gaten Matarazzo, who is Dustin in Stranger Things, Sean Giambrone from The Goldbergs, Lulu Wilson from The Haunting of Hill House and some other projects, and Peyton Elizabeth Lee, who I saw in Prom Pact because I'm a girl dad, and I will proudly say that movie's pretty good. Shout out to Disney. This is basically a drug comedy. It's high college students face an unexpectedly epic journey when they must navigate 2 flights of stairs to retrieve their pizza delivery, turning a simple task into a surreal adventure. Shane, this is yet another movie with exploding heads. I watched They Will Kill You and this like back to back, like night before and morning after. And I was just like, good God, all the exploding heads I've seen in the last little bit. Although I do enjoy the exploding head bit in this movie probably more. Although the Heather Graham thing with the eye, I did enjoy. But this one where it turned into the swearing causing head explosion thing, I did enjoy quite a bit. I enjoyed this movie. I think like there's the backbone of the RA gambit and like the actual things that try to drive it to be more than like a relationship friendship comedy, drug comedy doesn't really work for me. Like the RA phone thing and the dorm that like treats them like a prisoner or whatever. I was like, okay, that stuff like whatever. That's just fluff. I didn't care about that at all. But everything else I kind of liked. The friendship redemption thing, the meta jokes with the writer directors where like the grandpa plays a 19-year-old college student, I thought was really funny. I thought a lot of the drug bits worked. And even the takeaways of the death metal folk band Flesh Grenade, like that whole thing. And I don't know, there was a lot of things. The Snackatron thing made me laugh. Because I think, I don't know. It just tickled me. So there was enough. And the butterfly is voiced by Daniel Radcliffe.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed that. So there are enough dumb things in here where I can't fully endorse this movie. But if you're in the right mood, I think a person who, I think it's better than like just calling it like a stoner or like a drug movie. I think it's a better comedy than just saying that. But it doesn't rise to some like amazing level, but I enjoyed it for the most part.
Okay. This movie
That's fine.
This movie was cute at
This is not for everybody.
this movie was cute at times. It was. And I like the cast. I like the kid from the Goldbergs. I thought it's good to see him in something different, right? Something other than the Goldbergs. And I just kept thinking my kids, if I was my kids' age, I would have loved this movie. Like if I was 15 years old, I would have just been having a great time with this movie. But
yeah, it's dumb.
It is. And again, I liked a lot of aspects of this movie. I couldn't get around the whole RA plot part of this movie. It was
It's terrible. It's
it,
dumb.
it was terrible. I
Yeah.
felt like it didn't need to be in the movie for it to work. I think they could have just left that part out, or at least dialed it down some. Because I was
Yeah,
rocking
that I could buy.
because I was
Yeah.
rocking with them trying to get the pizza from the first floor. I'm like, okay, this
Yeah.
works. Like you said, the
Yeah.
butterfly scene, just there's a lot of good stuff in here, like them using the curse words and like even words they didn't think were curse words made me laugh.
Yeah.
Like the whole one thing made me laugh. Like there are some
Yeah.
good fun moments in this movie, but the RA stuff,
Because it feels like a video game.
Yeah.
For every new phase they got to do, it feels
Yeah.
like a new level thing. I
and
enjoyed
I
that.
enjoyed it. It's just the RA stuff just took me way out of it, and
So
some
dumb.
of the characters I just couldn't get past, like the whole them getting farted on by that same people, and
That was not great either.
yeah,
No.
it's like okay, really. But at the end of the day, I had a good time. Again, I just felt like if I was younger, I had a lot of flashbacks of Dude, Where's My Car for some reason, which I
hate that movie,
I
so I
fucking
will
hate that movie.
Yeah,
But
this is what I'm saying. I think it's a cut above
is.
a lot of these, like, oh, you'll love it if you're a stoner. I'm like, I don't do much in the way of even weed, let alone like whatever the hell they're
Right.
trying to get with and psychedelia and all that stuff. So no, but like I enjoyed it, and I'm not 13 and don't do drugs on the regular. So
yeah, but it did give me flashbacks of that movie, which I fucking hated. It's one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. That being said, I enjoy this a hell of a lot more. Like you said, it's a cut above one of those movies. So yeah, at the end of the
even like Half Baked or something like that, or like stoner comedies like that, I'm like, is this that much worse?
No, though Half Baked is fucking hilarious. But anyway,
I think that's because it's Dave Chappelle, and like, and again, if you take that movie and you go, well, the Samson shit and all the other stuff like that, I don't care.
Right.
But if you just take like the funny lines and those 3-4 guys at the lead of that relationship, awesome. Yeah, that's what you take away.
Yeah.
You know.
So.
And then, like, there's dumb things like, oh, I'm dating Mary Jane. That's so stupid. Or, like, Dave Chappelle working in a drug lab. Who cares?
Yeah.
Like, there's so many things in that where you're just like, that's not what I'm watching this movie for.
So at the end of the day, I still gave this movie a 3 because it had.
Yeah, I think I'm right there.
It had heart. I like the cast. At times, a little too dumb. I didn't care about some of the stuff. But, like, at the end of the day, it's a fun movie, and it has a good heart, and I like the cast. So I ended up giving it a 3. It was enjoyable.
Yeah. Absolutely. Next one up, you got the next two, buddy. We're going into Prime Video mode, where you took some risks, especially at your last minute, where I was like, man, you're just padding stats right now. You know this is not going to work. But I'll let you have the floor. We're going to lead off with Pretty Lethal, which is now on Prime Video, available to watch without rental, right? It's just straight up on Prime.
Right?
It stars Maddie Ziegler, Lana Condor, Millicent Simmons, Iris Apatow. This follows a group of ballerinas as they try to escape from a remote inn after their bus breaks down on the way to a dance competition. I said to you, when I watched it, because I watched the trailer, because I was interested in this movie, in the same way that They Will Kill You looks like Ready or Not Redux. How is this movie like? Did this movie just get all of its oxygen sucked out from the fact that there's a John Wick ballerina whole backstory thing with that? Like, it just seemed too much, like, too redundant, that I was just like, and if you're going to take where I'm not watching it in the John Wick universe too, I didn't know how much energy I had to watch this movie. Is it worth watching?
I think so. Again, it's another fun movie. It's very entertaining. It's not like, yes, it has ballerinas, and of course you think of ballerina in the John Wick universe, but it's not that. Because these are actually, they're not trained fighters or trained to be assassins. They're actually just ballerinas who happen to be at the wrong place at the wrong time, and they have to fight for their survival. I kind of compare it to a more funny, cheeky version of The Green Room. Wrong place, wrong time. Meaning we have to get out of this.
I hear you.
We have, but that's where the comparison's at, because The Green Room is tense and great, and to say yes. And I didn't know Uma Thurman was in this movie. Had no idea Uma Thurman would play a prominent role.
Yeah, I didn't put her down. Yeah,
in this movie. she's like the owner of said bar out in Eastern Europe, wherever. But yeah, once these
Right.
ballerinas know the situation they're in, they have to get their way out. They kind of like just piece together different things, and they, of course, there's like factions within this group. You get the spoiled girl that no one likes. You get the outsider who like is poor and doesn't belong. And they're like, they all have their differences,
Right.
but they all come together to try to get out of a situation. And great action scenes. It gets bloody at times. It's just it's a harmless, fun, entertaining movie that Prime has out there right now. So it's not wickish. It's not anything else. It's pretty much it is in that mode of they will kill you or oh my god, ready or not. It's kind of in that DNA code,
Right.
but in a different way. And the writing's not strong because it's cheesy and corny at times and whatever, but you don't care at that point.
Yeah.
Like you just roll with it. And I had a good time with it, man. It was just a fun time. So I ended up giving it a strong 3, man. Like an hour 45 minutes, and it just kind of rolls
Yeah.
along, man. So yeah.
Is there anyone from that like ballerina cast that stands out? Because that is kind of what intrigued me. Outside of the Uma Thurman thing and a lot of the, I was just like, a lot of people I recognize and have liked in other things, like especially Lana Condor. Like I covering Netflix stuff, I've seen Lana Condor so many times over the years. Like, is there anyone who stands out amongst them?
Just the lead.
Maddie Ziegler?
Yeah, she stands out,
Yeah.
and the Asian chick who plays the rich spoiled girl. I've seen her in some stuff.
Well, that's Lana
Yeah,
Condor.
and
Yeah.
yes, I don't know her name, but the girl is in A Quiet Place 1 and 2.
Yeah, Millicent Simmons. Yeah.
she was good in it, though she wasn't in it as much as I thought she would be, and I would like to see more of her character in the movie. But yeah, Maddie Ziegler is a
Right.
standout in this movie, along with Lana Condor. Like them two play like the two alphas of the group, and they get enough screen time. The others don't get as much.
Okay.
No, it's the two leads, the two Maddie and Lana were really good and play well off each other because they're polar opposites.
Yeah.
Think Blair and Joe from like
Facts of
Facts of Life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
As in like the tomboy
Yeah.
and the more sure.
That's exactly
Yeah.
what it was. But they're kick-ass
Yeah.
ballerinas, so it's a good time, man. It was better than I thought it was going to be.
All right. Well, I wonder if you have that same attitude towards Mercy, which kind of got beat up when it was out in theaters. It kind of underperformed. This is Chris Pratt and Rebecca Ferguson. Set in the near future, a detective accused of murdering his wife has 90 minutes to prove his innocent to an advanced AI judge. And I believe they put it out there that he created said AI program too. So is it something along those lines? Like this one, I had no energy for from the trailer. I kind of wanted to see it in theaters to almost be like, come on here and just rip it apart. Is it rip apart worthy, or is there something redeeming from Mercy?
It is totally rip apart. It is totally. This movie felt like it was made during COVID. I don't know how else.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I don't know how else to explain it. Like, yes, he is framed or he is on trial for the murder of his wife. He helped not create the AI, but he helped foster AI becoming part of the judicial system. And now he has to defend himself against it. And this is Chris Pratt in this one singular room for 90% of the movie. And I'm like, you are terribly miscast because Chris Pratt is funny. He's charming. He could pull off action. And I felt like you could have got any John Doe in this movie to do his role. Like he didn't bring anything extraordinary to this role. Rebecca Ferguson played AI. She was like a goddamn robot. Like just, you could have put anyone there. The writing was bad. It was predictable. Like I knew the twist like 10 minutes into the fucking movie, like who did it.
Yeah.
And you're just piecing together like what happened. And they try to throw another twist at the end and it just didn't fucking work. Like I just didn't care. Like I didn't care. You don't care about his character. Just the bad writing. And people compare this to Minority Report. And I'm like, okay, I kind of get that a little bit as far as like future crime is being, but Minority Report is like, it leaps and bounds. It's like The Godfather.
Yeah.
And this is
how dare you?
How dare you?
It's Spielberg and Tom Cruise and Colin Farrell. I don't see anybody of that walking through the door.
No. And I'm so glad I didn't see this movie in the theater. I would have been so mad. I would have
They
been.
had IMAX screens for this. Can you imagine?
I would have been so mad, dude. Like you get like 10 minutes of action in the last scene, last 10 minutes of the movie. That's where like most of the
Right.
action picks up. But like you just don't care. It's so boring and just bad. And the reason why I watched it is because it was Easter Sunday and I had time. I exhausted every avenue I had of watching shows and movies. I'm like, well, it's on Prime. It's not going to cost me anything,
Right.
so let's queue it up. I give this movie a
Yeah.
straight 1.5.
Ooh, Nilly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm a big Chris Pratt fan, and it hurts me to say that, but like in my head, I'm like, why would you do this kind of movie? Like, why did you do this movie other than a paycheck?
What? Oh, yeah, which is always the answer, or a lot of times the answer. Not to mention, like, I think again, this was produced by either Amazon
It
MGM,
was, yep,
right?
yep.
So that's why I kind of went to Prime straight and everything else. But I feel like I'm trying to think now because 2026 has been, I haven't been like woefully disappointed in a lot of movies. And of the stuff that came out, I don't have a 1.5 movie. So is this the worst movie of the year for you?
It's the worst movie of the year for me. It's not
Wow.
even it's not even close.
I was about to say, I'm like looking at like what I have. I'm like, I have a 2, maybe a 2.5 for sure. I'm like, I definitely don't have anything where I was just like, fuck this movie. And you're kind of leaning into that
Yeah,
territory.
like I might watch Lisa Frankenstein before I watch this movie again.
Woo-hoo. Yeah.
Is all I'm
At least you
saying.
get to see things blow up
'Cause-
and you get to see Carlo Gugino.
Yeah, exactly right. This movie's just so dull
Yep.
and bland and just I just didn't care.
Yeah.
So bad.
Oof. Yeah, that's harsh. All right, let's wrap up with the last movie. I was the only person to see this one. This is Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie. This is directed by and starring Matt Johnson, also alongside him, Jay McCarroll. Matt Johnson, I believe we both saw and enjoyed thoroughly Blackberry.
Yes.
Correct?
Yep.
So this is his follow-up as far as like a directing level. This is also based on Nirvana, the band, the show, which was a series that had a couple seasons, as well as like web series stuff as well. This is about when their plan to book a show at the Rivoli goes horribly wrong. Matt and Jay accidentally travel back to the year 2008. This movie, I wanted to watch this movie because not only did I really enjoy Blackberry, but I also, have you seen the scores for this movie? Have we discussed this? Where I believe its letterbox score is either 4.3 or 4.4.
Oh, okay.
It's like one of the highest scores I've ever seen. So I was like, wow. And I know, again, a lot of like harsh, like critics who are generally hard on things, giving it at least a 4, if not a 4.5, where they'll be like, this movie's amazing, and then give it a 3.
Right.
Like this movie, they give a lot of really high scores to. So I was like, okay, I will watch this movie, even though I did not watch the series. And to their credit, I did not think during this, I think I would enjoy this more if I already had watched the series and had like a shortcut, a shorthand to like their type of humor and what they do. I think they do a good job of setting it up. I like this movie. I think it's a very good friendship story as much as it is about time travel and the quest for success and other band stuff and really just about like their dynamic. There's some very impressive stunt and effects stuff for a low budget film to where you go, how the hell did they pull that off? There's a lot of those moments in here. I thought it gets a little murky in the plot in the middle with some of the travel going back and forth, especially when Jay, like, I don't want to give away the plot, but like, one of the band members becomes more successful than the other when they do the time travel thing after they have an argument. And, there's a lot more obstacles and some, more convenient stuff that was less funny. So I think that's where I was kind of like maybe checked out slightly in the middle. But other than that, I think this is a really smartly written and executed sci-fi adventure comedy. I think if you liked Blackbear, or at least like the way he shoots things and has his direction, very similar in terms of a lot of those. I think this is also for probably fans of stuff like Flight of the Conchords, because you got like obviously the band comedy dynamic and also that kind of almost indie spirit to it, that kind of almost improv spirit to it as well. I think I had on my brain, like, this is like fans of Comedy Bang Bang or fans of like alt comedy and stuff. But I also felt like this is their version of Monty Python and the Holy Grail or Kids in the Hall's Brain Candy.
Uh-huh.
And it probably lies somewhere in between in terms of success. And I think it's good. But if you told me I would give it a 4.5, I'd laugh in your face because I don't think it's like that elevated. It's good and I liked it, but it is not something higher than like say a 3.5 for me. But to their credit, how many studio comedy type things do we even give that these days?
Right.
So I think for people who maybe again maybe had a relationship to these characters and this show maybe beforehand is going to really like it. I hear the same compliments over and over in terms of like the stunt and effects work and kind of going, holy hell, how did they pull this off? And they do a lot of stuff on the street and kind of getting genuine reactions from real people in a almost Borat kind of way. Not like again outlandish, but just enough that like people have genuine reactions and they're not actors. Seeing them pull things off. And it's funny. Like, so there are some stuff, but I didn't think it was like, oh my God, groundbreaking thing. It's just, a lot of it's like, what if we just kind of spoof the Back to the Future stuff mixed with our band dynamic and friendship? And it works. Again, no shade on any of it. I just don't think it's some like so elevated that I'm gonna push it to like the highest, like funniest, best thing of the year kind of category. And that's where it's getting scored. So that's where I was like, if you don't already know what's going on here, maybe pump the brakes slightly in terms of your expectations, but I still would recommend it as a watchable, funny comedy adventure, sci-fi tinged comedy adventure. So definitely good on that. And I think it will live on just for the fact of what I just laid out there. Like, even for how much I love Kids in the Hall, Brain Candy is not a very good movie at all.
Right.
But there are some scenes in it that I think is absolutely hilarious that will just stick with me. And especially because I already love them, I give it maybe more credit than it's due. And then, of course, like the Monty Python example, like that's an epic, legendary movie. That and Life of Brian and all these other ones. But I don't know. This one, I felt like it was sandwiched in between in terms of effectiveness. So I give it probably a 3.5.
That's still pretty good.
It is. Yeah. It's so funny that like, how we go through this with the scores all the time. It's like the strong, the weak, the whatever, but it's like, I think we gave 3 movies in here, 3.5.
Yeah.
That's a good day, especially like our good week where we're just like banging out these movies and really kind of taking some risks and, checking out some plots that may even seem redundant or have like good cast, but we don't know about the plot. And I think that's a pretty successful week. So I think, again, 2026 has like a couple of bangers, but everything, like we said, before you watch Mercy, there wasn't a whole lot at the bottom either.
I was going to say, and I apologize, folks, for bringing this episode down.
Yeah, you brought the mean down.
Because we were rolling along with all our 3.5s, and 4s and whatnot.
Yeah.
I had to go and watch Mercy and bring it down. Sorry, folks.
I know. Yeah. But overall, very good. And man, we did 7 movies in an hour. So I hope everybody enjoyed the ride as much as we did this week. Watching a lot of good movies with a lot of recommendations here, especially a lot of these are on streaming, readily available. So you can check those out right now on a lot of the services that are out there. I believe Nirvana, the band, the show is just a rental. The other ones I think are all available on streaming services if you subscribe to them. So outside of Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie, you can check out all those if you have Amazon, Hulu, and I think those are the only ones that were included, right? And then the other films that are in theaters now, so be sure to check them out if you want to check them out in theaters right at this moment. Be sure to come back next week. We'll have more going on, although again, we will mend. I'm wondering, Shane, do you have a You, Me, and Tuscany or whatever the hell that movie is? Is that, do you have a solo mission planned for that one? Because I don't know if it's going to make the cut on the show
How
this week.
dare you, sir? I don't know if I'm ready for that solo mission or not. I'll
Yeah.
probably pass on that this week.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, folks,
Good
but
to
I
know.
cannot get ready for that mission at all. I'm just gonna
And
pass that.
instead, I can possibly see you doing the Shark Attack
Oh,
movie
absolutely.
this week for Netflix. That feels exactly like a Shane solo mission. But if you want to know my thoughts, I will have that as my weekly What's on Netflix review as well. So if you want to check that out, that will be coming out on Friday when the movie comes out. Yeah, next week we're batting around some ideas because it is a
Slow week, folks.
week
Yep.
lineup, yeah, out there. So we're gonna try to maybe catch up with some TV stuff. We got some season finales, some seasons that just started for shows we like. So maybe we'll dip back into more TV. But we hope you join us. Be sure to subscribe, follow us on social media at Recent Act Pod, and be sure to come back next week for more recent activity.